How many of you use the website or the app Wish for Wish.com? Well, my wife was using it for quite a while, and I never did. She got some really cool stuff that we've used for us as a couple, and some gift things, and she's found actually some good deals on even stuff like video game consoles and things like that. So I went ahead and I joined Wish a little while ago, and I figured, as an experiment, just an experiment, what can I find that's fountain pen related and is actually really cheap? Because that's what Wish.com is known for, is getting stuff really cheap, usually shipped from China. So I just ordered a bunch of stuff, and it took a while for it to come in. It wasn't going to come in real fast because it was coming from overseas. There's actually one thing that is not being shown out here. There's a reason for that. But also, I'm waiting on one more bottle of ink that I had ordered, but I figured I had enough to give you an idea. Everything here was under $2. Some of it was, free, but you had to pay for shipping. So obviously they're making their money off from the shipping aspect of it rather than on the product itself, probably because it's made for pennies and they're going to make some profit off from it, from us greedy Americans. So I went ahead and said, what the heck? For $2 and under, let's go ahead and see what I can get. So I think the first thing I ran across and purchased was this. This is actually an unbranded bamboo wood fountain pen. I figured, what the heck? Not that I really wanted a bamboo pen, not that I thought this was awesome looking, but for the sake of experimentation, because that was my whole point, I went ahead and ordered it. And I have not written with it, but it's got like a 1.1 stub nib on this thing. And I got to choose the nib. I said, what the heck? If I'm going to order it, I might as well go ahead and go for the stub. And it did come with a slide converter in it. Don't know what kind of quality it is yet because I haven't written with them. I'm just showing them to you. I'm not necessarily going to give you writing samples. But a bamboo fountain pen for like $2. I figured, what the heck? Then I ordered this one. So this is an all metal pen, and it kind of reminiscent of the Parker Arrow there on that clip, but it's an all metal. So you've got that, and it's kind of a pane pattern here. So I figured, why not? There is some writing actually on this particular pen, but none of it's in English, so I don't know what it says. But it does say 195, so whatever model 195. And again, you've got the lacquered metal here and a nothing special nib, and it does come with a cheap standard international converter. So, like I said, under $2. I went ahead and picked that up. The next thing I decided to go ahead and order, 2 of these. These should actually look fairly familiar. They kind of look like a Jinhao 599 or a Lamy Safari. These are all plastic in their construction. Again, these are unbranded. I don't see any branding on the pen at all on this. But it does have an extra fine nib on it, the triangular style grip, and again, it's got one of those redhead standard international converters. So I ended up with 2 of those together. Like I said, I don't know how they write, but just sharing those with you. Standard international converters. 1, 2, 3, 5 of them in a bag. Under $2, shipped to my door. A bottle of black ink. Carcos Fountain Pen Ink Black. I don't know how good it is, or not, quite honestly. I haven't bothered with it just yet. And I got these 2 little bottles of ink. One of these is a blue, and one of them is a green. So, I haven't used those yet either. So, just showing you what I was able to find. And a dip pen. I figured, what the heck? Why not? So I figured for, under $2, and you're going to get something like a feathery dip pen with a bunch of different nibs with it, I'd go for it. There's no branding on it whatsoever. What you see is how it came. All it says is dip pen down at the bottom here. And then feather pen, nature feather, instead of natural. Probably translated by somebody in China. But you get some really wide calligraphy nibs here. And obviously some other stub nibs down to a fine, and this particular nib looks almost to be just a plain old medium, fine or medium, almost like a fountain pen nib on it, and they come out really easily, and it just sticks in the center there. This nib, though, obviously is a whole lot, I guess for standard writing purposes, I don't know, but it's a lot shorter than these nibs, so that was a little odd, I thought. Well, there we go. So it's a dip. Purple feather, you dip it in ink, you take and you write with it. So I thought that was rather interesting. A little curious as to this particular pen as well. So there you go. That's what I picked up on Wish.com. Alright, so welcome back. I went ahead and just decided what the heck. I'll ink these suckers up and see how they go. Like I said, this ink, there's no real branding on it. I mean, CX made. That doesn't really tell me anything. I know it's a Chinese ink, but it doesn't really tell me anything about the manufacturer. But I'm assuming they're all made in China, so I went ahead and inked these pens up. These three here. And one of the things, every one of them had one of these little plugs in it. So these are ink sample size bottles, and they had these little gray ones in here. This one came out of this particular bottle. They were a little tough to get out. I actually had to reach over and I had to grab a set of forceps to try to get these plugs taken out of these bottles. Had to be really careful too, and the same with inking them up. I had to be really careful. And like this one here, you can tell that there's some spillage out of the bottle. I actually have some ink right here on my desk I'm trying to wipe up. So there you go. Let me go ahead and throw these ink plugs away along with this oft-used paper towel into my trash can. So let's start with this one, the bamboo one, in the order in which I showed them to you. This bamboo one here, yeah, that's not going to post at all. So it's wood, don't expect it really to do much. But this was the bamboo pen with a 1.1 stub. Got to be honest with you, it writes pretty doggone good. For under $2, it's actually a surprisingly good pen. I'm not much on wood pens. I'll be honest with you, I just don't like the wood so much. But this was part of an experiment, so I went ahead and ordered it. So this has got kind of a bluish green, more green I think than blue color to it. So there you go. That would be, I think, this bottle of ink right here and that pen. So the next one was this one. This one here, I'm not really sure what style nib or what size nib, but this is the black pen, you know, with the pane pattern. It's not the smoothest pen in the world, but it is not horrendous either. I guarantee that if I spent just about 30 seconds with some micro mesh on this particular pen, I would actually have that nib operating fairly smoothly. So, for about $2 American, in a little bit of time, a little bit of micro mesh, you can actually have some a decent writing pen. And that was this particular ink right here, the black ink. This is the one that I expected to perform the worst out of the three, because number one, it is an extra fine nib. It will post nicely for you. You've got those big old triangular grips on it. So this was the green extra fine, and I used that green ink in this particular pen. You can really tell this is an extra fine. No two ways about it. This is a very fine line. So for those of you who like actually extra fine, yeah, no doubt whatsoever. It is not as scratchy as I thought it would be. It still is a little more than I personally prefer. I like pens that just glide across the page. This doesn't, but it is not as horrendously scratchy as I thought it was going to be. So I was actually pleasantly surprised that it wasn't horrendous. I'm not going to ink up the other one, but just this particular one. Unknown, don't know what brand it is, no markings whatsoever on it, but it looks very much like those, like a Jinhao copy of a Lamy. Alright, last, let's try the dip pen. I'm not much on dip pens. It's just not my forte. I've got some here in my collection. It's not a something I absolutely love or adore. I'm going to use the nib that was in it when I first got it. And I don't think it was stuck in quite that far. I think it was more like that when I first got it. So I'm going to use it as it came. I'm not going to put in one of these other nibs just yet. I may do that here in just a few minutes. But I'm going to take some Papier Plume ink, just because of the shape of the bottle, not necessarily because of the color or the preference, but because the shape of the bottle will help keep it from spilling. That's one of the big things I don't like with the idea of having a dip pen, is having to have a bottle of ink and having to constantly do that deal. Like I'm Thomas Jefferson penning the American Declaration of Independence. So this is the feather dip pen. Maybe I didn't leave it in long enough for that. Didn't last very long, did it? This is why I am not a big fan. Feather dip pen. Not a great nib, and like I said, not a big fan either. So real quick, while I've got it here, let's go ahead and just pull one of those stubbier nibs. Let's go with this one and see if it does any better. I don't like how that sits. Let me go ahead and try to reseat it differently. No, not going to work well that way. I guess I'll have to settle for that. You're seeing it for the first time just like I am, so different nib. Nope. Let's go again. Yeah, not a fan. That's just me, guys. I haven't used dip pens hardly at all, and that's one of the reasons why. Not a big fan. So anyway, in case you ever wonder what you can find, and I know, don't get me wrong, I realize that fountain pen ink is not the greatest ink to be using using a dip pen. I get that, I know that. But anyway, this is what I was able to find on Wish.com. Yeah, happy hunting. Hey, it's Troy here. I want to take a real quick minute to do a couple of things. Number one is to thank you. Thank you for watching my channel and my videos and helping the channel to grow. And speaking of helping it grow, I would greatly appreciate if you would just hit the subscribe button. If you're not already a subscriber to this channel, that'll help me to keep content coming to you here on YouTube. Also, if you want to help this channel continue to thrive and get the word out, I have some t-shirts, fountainpenfanatic.com, which is a URL to this channel. T-shirts available for you at about the lowest price that I can possibly charge for them with the manufacturer that I'm using. That'll get you a great quality t-shirt and will help get the word out about this particular channel. And also discount codes. Look in the video description all the time on every video for a discount code to go purchase pens at a marked discount for you, simply for being a viewer and subscriber to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all the kind words and the feedback that I get from you, my viewers.